Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the design crimes of the Mark III Toyota MR2, and that is it only has front speakers in here and the tweeter there. These never came with rear speakers. The older models, the Mark II MR2 did. Some of them even had subwoofers under the seats. These come with nothing. The car stereo is awful, and I want to try and do something about it. The problem is there's a lot of compromises to be done. There's just a real shortage of real estate to install speakers in the back here. My initial thoughts were to perhaps install speakers in this void in the B pillar just here, but ultimately speaker pods would interfere with the seat just here, and that'd touch each other, which wouldn't be ideal. The next idea I had was to install a speaker pod down in the bottom of the locker here, sitting just here. But again, while it's not too bad for seat clearance, the speaker is just pointing at your lower back and you won't hear it. So I decided to try and install them up in the top left corners here so that they're nice and high, pretty much at shoulder height. And so as a result, there's a chance that I'll hear them. To help things along further, I've got these speaker pods here. They cost roughly £10 on eBay, and I'm going to provide a link in the chat for these. They're slightly angled, so I can point them in such a way that the seat won't interfere with them and that they'll point up closer to my ears a little bit. As far as the speakers themselves go, I've gone for these Pioneers. They're just a compromise between Pioneer being the best brand that I could get for the money. They're a nice shallow mounting depth, about 42 millimeters deep when mounted, which will fit inside these pods. And they're a two-way, not a three-way. I think the 1030 model's a three-way. They cost a lot more money, and since these are going to be pretty close to my ears, they're just going to perforate my eardrums, so I think a two-way is fine. As far as parts go, I'm going for M5 nylock nuts and bolts and some nylon washers. Okay, let's get started. If you do decide to go the speaker pods way, the most important consideration that you can make is that the speakers you buy have a shallow enough depth such that the magnet on the back of the speaker does not impact on the pod. So in my case with these Pioneers, we've got no such problem. They fit nice and comfortable. And with the grill, the finished product will look pretty much like that. And also these pods come at a little bit of an angle, so you have some choice over what direction the speaker gets pointed in. Alright, so next we've got the cable. I've connected that up, drilled an 8mm hole at the bottom center of the speaker pod, which leads through into the locker. I'm gonna tape that down. The cable runs under the plastic tub at the bottom of the locker and then hangs a right, and it goes under the plastic gearbox covering. Alright, so the wires are taped down and we're all finished. Grill's on, and when the seats go back, they don't impact on the speaker. So the next step's going to be to wire them to the head unit. Okay, so now the speakers are installed, it's time to actually wire them in. I have pulled the harness off the back of the stereo, which leads back to this, the factory wiring loom. Now, weirdly, the Toyota MR2 Generation 3 does have some wires in the loom for the rear speakers, even though the car has no rear speakers. Why has Toyota done that? I can only guess. My guess being that this is a generic loom for the Toyota Corolla or maybe the Avensis, everything, and it's cheaper just to throw it in the car than redesign it with less wires. So this white clip here is for the rear speakers. The solid purple is the rear right positive. The purple and black is the rear right negative. As for the green, the solid green is the rear left positive, and the green and black is the rear left negative. So I've just tapped into that with some red bullet connectors here and here, and these wire through to my rear speakers. So we're going to connect it in now, and hopefully it works.
surround sound finally.